Hi, good evening. I was just doing a lot of reading on the internet about the world situation. I was trying to pick out the one thing that interested me the most to try to inform myself on it, and that is the ongoing military buildup in South America. It seems to be that there's a shift in events, and some very significant historical events have taken place. For instance, the president of Ecuador seems to want to not to want to renew the American base at Manta, but if they do renew it or agree to renew it, they want a base of their own near Miami, Florida. So it's very interesting to see that go on, kind of funny in a way, although not funny, ha ha. It's about the nations of South America attempting to resist the big brother of the North, which has had a troubled history of intervening wherever they feel like it, whenever they feel like it, on the very thin pretexts that would give Hitler pause. So I've oftentimes wonder about it, think about it a lot. During the Cold War, we were fighting communism. So anybody that was against communism, whether it was Papa Doc or Baby Doc Duvalier of Haiti, or whether it was Pinochet of Chile, who we helped put in power, or the generals in Argentina fighting the dirty war, it didn't make any difference as long as they were against communism. Well, today it's about the war on drugs and international terrorism. So there is a deal to make available 7 military bases to the United States in Colombia for that purpose, to interdict the illicit drug trade coming out of Colombia and elsewhere, and also to fight terrorism. We also have 2 military bases on Honduras that we use, and that may explain why we have been not too quick to put sanctions on the military dictatorship that overthrew the legally elected president and flew him out of the country. President Zelaya is now in the Brazilian embassy, where he is staying under very bad conditions, according to him, in an interview done with him. And basically, an agreement put together in Costa Rica is supposed to be able to bring about conditions where a dialogue can take place between the interim president and President Zelaya, hopefully that will allow him to serve out his term, which ends in January. Now, in late November, there's going to be another presidential election. It looks like a African Honduran is going to be having a pretty good chance at gaining the presidency, and he is making a very good impression all the way around. So we'll see what happens with that. Also in Panama, we had abandoned all of our military bases in Panama at the end of 1999, but now Panama will host 2 naval bases on the Pacific coast for the same reason, the illicit drug trade interdiction, and no doubt to fight terrorism. If we go on to Pakistan, the Afghanistan-Pakistan war, we see a large military operation going on in Pakistan to try to defeat the Taliban and destroy the Uzbek fighters that are inside that country. The fighters, or soldiers as I like to call them, number about 10,000. Pakistan Army, 27,000 to possibly 30,000 involved in that offensive. The Pakistani Army's Chief of Staff has written an open letter to neighboring tribesmen to try to get them to stay neutral, or at least not help the Taliban. And it seems like they've agreed to allow the Pakistani Army to pass through their territory without resisting, so they can carry out operations against the Taliban, and I think it's South Waziristan. The Indian Army is poised to make sure that there's no overflow from that conflict into India. Matter of fact, the equivalent of, I think it's India's equivalent to our Secretary of Defense has made the statement that the Indian Army is ready to meet any contingency that may threaten Indian territory. So far, you know, in reading all of this stuff, and there's a lot of things I've left out. I'm sure that there's much detail that I should have put in the video, but I didn't. It leads me to just get overwhelmed sometimes because I have to think to myself, what is it that I want to learn thoroughly enough so that I am well versed and understand that when a leader makes an assured statement to me that all I have to do is keep my mouth shut and do what I'm told, I can at least ask some intelligent questions to see what kind of answer I will get back. My guess is I'll just get brushed to the side and laughed at. But, you know, at least I can air my grievances on the internet this way and let people know that you can find out these things by surfing the net and researching on your own. You can find out a lot of stuff. You don't need to be ignorant of anything, believe me. If you want to learn about the anatomy of the human brain and brain chemistry, you can learn all of that stuff. It's possible to do it. You don't have to wait to go to college. And you can be concerned about what's happening to the country and what's happening to the world. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing boring or dull about it, because believe me, we ought to be concerned about it. And we need to identify the problem first and describe all the parts of it and see how it all works together before we can actually come up with any kind of a solution. So, folks, pay attention to what's going on. And I am, and I want to know everything, even if I can't do anything about it.